Hey there guys, DMO73 here, bringing you a double dose of spoilers. Sorry I wasn't able to cover some spoilers on Friday, Gen Con got crazy, but today it kind of works out because I have two of the 6 sages, Zero and Fiethsing, and their support to kind of talk to you about today. So that kind of lines up. So today is 6 sages spoiler day. So first off, we have our light ruler from Curse of the Frozen Casket, and it's Zero, 6 Sage of Light. She is a human, 6 sages, Judgment of 2 light, Energize of light. And for light, you can, for 1 light will, target resonator gains +1/+1 until the end of the turn. But for 1 darkness, target J/resonator loses flying, first strike, swiftness, precision, and imperishable until the end of the turn. So she just instantly says no if you have darkness will to all of those simple skills. That is really awesome, especially since it's J/resonator. We haven't really had any kind of activate abilities that have interacted with simple skills in such a kind of control-y way before. So this is really cool to see, and I do like the fact that it's still kind of a hint of her dark magic from back when she was corrupted by the Cthulhu. So that's pretty cool. So flipping her over into her ruler side, this is Zero, the master of the magic saber. So she apparently is the one where all these swords are coming from. This kind of symbology is like everywhere in these artworks, but this is really cool. So she's an 11/11 off the bat. That's a really good stats for a ruler. She has precision, the new target attack. And she prevents all damage that would be dealt to herself while she's battling. So if she's blocking or attacking, she's not going to take any damage. That's huge, especially for the stats that she has and target attack, or precision. Sorry, I got to get out of that habit. So this means that she can just go up against anything and she's not going to have to worry about doing trades. She's just raw damage. This is really important. And then she also says here, J/resonators your opponent controls lose and cannot gain flying, first strike, swiftness, precision, and imperishable. She is literally a death scythe on legs, but like even better because she also hits swiftness, precision, first strike, and flying for everything your opponent controls. That is a very, very strong lockdown effect. That is going to be very, very important. So that is really cool. I'm excited to make some stuff happen with her. Then we have Zero's familiar, little owl. He's 2-drop 5/5 with flying. And he says, your J/ruler gains barrier, which we talked about before. It is the hexproof. So he makes her hexproof. Hooray! And then as long as you control Zero of the Master's Magic Saber, so the J ruler side of Zero, he gains 300. So he can become a 2-drop 8/8 that gives her a barrier. Like, this is really good synergy here. I really like that a lot. Then we have the Safeguard of the Light Palace. He's a 3-drop 7/7 that when he enters your field, destroy target addition. So some new addition hate to kind of replace Blessed Holy Wolf. And for 1 light, this card can gain 200 defense until the end of the turn. So he can be kind of a barrier there. And again, there's that symbology with the lightsabers. And then we have Zero's Magic Light. It is a 2-drop chant quick cast. But if your J/ruler is 0/6 Sage of Light or 0 Master of the Magic Saber, you only have to pay 1 light for this card, and this is where this gets awesome. Remove target attacking or blocking resonator from the game. Don't kill it, don't do whatever, just whoop, gone. And for only 1 light, for when you have Zero as your ruler, it's a really effective removal spell. Like, that is insanely strong for a removal spell. So I am very hyped about this card. The artwork is a little bit of a very different style, but I really like it. So moving on, we have Pandora, the Hope-Weaving Queen. This just proves my personal theory that Grim and Pandora are the parents of Millium, so that's kind of cool. So 2-drop 200 1000. She's a human. And she just has the continuous effect of if you would roll 1 or more dice using force, you roll that many dice +1. So she just gives you additional dice to roll with your force mechanic. So I would say that she has some potential to play into the light structure deck, but again, you know, I've talked about this before, you're probably not going to see a lot of high tier competitive players making use of the force mechanic at like qualifiers and stuff. It just kind of, because we don't want to give our outcomes to chance. Then we have Pandora's Mark of Hope. It is an addition. Bestowed Resonator gains 400, 400. When Bestowed Resonator is put into a graveyard from your field, you force 1. You gain life, 200 life multiplied by the result. So essentially means if something dies, bam, you get some extra life. And you can bestow it by paying 1 and tapping this card. So remember, additions work a little differently now. So the addition just hits the board with no target and sits there, and then you bestow it for 1 and tapping it and then attach it to something. But don't forget that it is play this ability only if this card is not bestowed, and only anytime you can play a chance. So it's not quick cast, that's important, even though it's an activate ability. Bestow is not an activate ability. But you can activate this the turn it comes into play, because additions don't have summonings like this. So keep that in mind. Then we have Storytelling Bard. It is a 1-drop 3/3 that just says tap, you gain 200 life. Pretty straightforward there. Nothing really much to say there. And then we have the Pumpkin Carriage, 3-drop 2/1200, 200/1200 Resonator Fairy Tale. And it says tap, target Fairy Tale Resonator you control gains, or no, just target Resonator gains plus 200 plus 1200. So it essentially gives its stats to something else, which makes sense. It's like a mount. So instead of, they made it into a Resonator instead of a creature. So being able to give a Fairy Tale suddenly a huge boost in defense if you need to for some reason. There you go. Then moving on to the Wind. So this is actually the Wind structure deck. This is the Torrent of Elves, or Elf Swarm deck. So we get all these elves coming out, and they are led by Fiethsing, the 6th Sage of Wind. Hooray! Judgment cost of 5, so way higher than the rest of them so far. Energized green, and it says whenever you play your second card each turn, put a 100/100 Wind Elf Resonator token into your field. People were asking for it, and we got it. We have tokens in Force of Will. So now elves are going to start that. So you play a second card, bam, you get a 100/100 Wind Elf to go along with it. So we're going to start getting some pretty crazy stuff here. And then we have, trying to click here, Fiethsing, the Master Magus of Holy Wind, 800/800. It says other elves you control gain +4/+4, meaning all of your tokens gain +4/+4. And it says whenever you put your second card each turn into play, you put 2 +100/+100 or 100/100 Wind Elf Resonator tokens into your field. I'm a little bit disappointed by the fact that she doesn't really do much beyond that. Fiethsing was all about will production before, and she doesn't really do any of that now. So that's kind of disappointing. But she does give you the option to be able to swarm a bunch. My only problem is her stats are really low. So I'm a little bit worried that that's going to be something that is easy to get punished based on the matchup, but it is something to kind of look out for moving forward. Maybe there's some stuff to be able to change that thing. Or if you play green-white, you just play the barrier, the Familiar of 0, and protect it. Then we have the Great Holy Sealing Wave. It is a 2-cost green chance. It says choose 1. Put target Resonator with total cost 2 or less on the bottom of its owner's deck, or the Torrent, and if you've played another card this turn, you can choose the Torrent option. Put target Resonator with total cost 4 or less on the bottom of its owner's deck. So this is actually pretty good removal for Wind, especially since you would imagine you play a second card, and if you're playing it as your second card this turn, then you're also going to get a 100/100 counter. So like for 2 costs, if it's a second card, you get to put a 4 cost back on the bottom of the owner's deck, and you get a token for 100/100. So that's not too bad. I definitely think there's some advantage to be happening there when playing with Fiethsing. But I wish it was quick cast, but I definitely understand that it would probably be way too powerful. Not necessarily, but it's a little interesting that it's not a quick cast, but we'll have to see what else we get. Then we have the Twofold Chant. Here's our quick cast chant. It's green 1, and then it says cancel target spell unless its controller pays 1. So back to the old effect of being able to pay an extra. It's like a mini Wall of Wind. But it has Torrent, and if it's your second plus card, it actually is just cancel target spell, and your opponent can't do anything. So this is essentially, if you play it second, it is a 2-cost just cancel anything. which is really good for green, especially since it's only one green, one colorless. This is essentially on par with like Zeke's and stuff like that, or this Fiethsing's Seal magic that she used a while ago, or Seal of Wind and Light. So without having to be in 2 colors, so that's pretty good. Then we have the Sacred Elf. It is our new wind producer. It's actually going to be a promo for buying the structure decks, which is pretty cool. So you get one drop elf 2/3 that just taps and produces wind. Pretty awesome. The artwork is amazing on this. So moving forward, we have the Home of the Sages, which unfortunately this is kind of sad. So you can see the other fantasy stones are still kind of locked away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is Little Red. I'm just gonna dig through this. This is Little Red, Pure Stone. Either that one or this one. This might be Little Red, the Pure Stone. Little Red, the Pure Stone, right there. Then we have Moodstart right there, and then we have Mylist right there, Grubalesta right there, and Almerius right there. It's really sad to see them all still in sealed form, but if you also look really closely over here, you can see there's totally Kaguya right over there. And that's cool because this is the place where Kaguya was raised by Fiethsing and Zero. So it's an addition for 2 costs. It says tap, produce any color. But you can only play this ability if you played a card this turn. So again, it's kind of that whole like you have to play a bunch of cards at once. It's a combo style. And then you can tap, pay 2 of any color, banish this card, and draw a card. So that's a little expensive, I think, but it's not too bad for being able to, you know, just pay it and then get a card if you really need to, and make something happen there. Then we have Spirit of Wind, 2-drop, double wind, Resonator Spirit, 5/5 with flying. And when this card enters your field, if you played 2 or more cards this turn, recover target magic stone. So just if it's your second card, it really only costs you 1. So that's pretty cool. We have the Torrent Elf, 2-drop, 5/6. When this card enters your field, if you play 2 or more cards this turn, you draw a card. So that's pretty cool for more draw power. Again, it's this combo mechanic that they just kind of snowball each other in these big combinations. Tama, the Familiar of Holy Wind. We've kind of already talked about this. It's 1-drop green, 2/2. When it enters your field, draw a card, and you can banish it for free to deal 200 damage to target Resonator. So a different take on the reprint of Familiar of Holy Wind that's a little bit more cost-effective while not being quite as damaging. Then we have Whispers from the Wind, 1-cost quick cast. Reveal the top card of your deck. This turn, you may pay 1 green less to play your next card if it shares a name with a revealed card. And then you draw a card. So, just explain that. So you play it, reveal it, draw it, and then if you were to play that card that you just drew or another copy of it immediately next, it costs you 1 green less. So that's potentially really cool because there are certain spells, like you could technically kind of chain Whispers from the Wind for a while and do like play it, get another Whispers of the Wind, play that for free, get another card, like, and you can kind of cycle a little bit, and it's all about this kind of comboing into different things. It makes your cancel spells potentially only cost you 1. Lots of different stuff that you can do. Creatures cost less or whatever. So pretty interesting idea. I would consider playing this in my upkeep. So like draw, play it before I untap, reveal the top card, put it in my hand, recover, and then immediately play that card to make it cheaper as my first card of the turn, potentially. So that's pretty cool. Then we have Vampire Hunter Christie. Christie is back. She is back in action. She's a 4-cost 10/10. She's got her symbology there. It's everywhere. When this card enters your field, if you've played 2 or more cards this turn, this card and target J/Resonator your opponent controls deal damage equal to their attack to each other. So she's a Duel of Truth if you've played 2 or more cards this turn. So if she's your second card, this will still trigger because you've technically played a second card. And then for 1 green, she gains +2/+2 until the end of the turn. But you can only use this ability if your ruler, J-Ruler, is Fiethsing. So this is important to note. So she's essentially got the same kind of effect that the current Priscilla does, but she's required to be played second as the second card, and her pump is required to be attached to Fiethsing. So this is important to note, but she is potentially very strong, and she can deal stuff to J/Resonator whereas Priscia can only deal Resonators, so that's pretty cool. Then we have Arya, the friendly vampire. Arya was the last vampire as well in the previous set, if I remember correctly. So she's 3 cost 6/6, and she provides barrier for darkness. She has barrier of darkness, so she cannot be targeted by darkness spells or abilities your opponent controls. So this is really cool. This is a new take on how to indicate barrier. So if there's an attribute symbol after it, it's only specifically for that color, which I think is really awesome, and a much more streamlined way to do things. But then if it's just barrier by itself, then it's everything. So, and she says other wind J/resonators you control gain +2/+2. So pretty awesome there. So she's a little mini field bump again. Your tokens are technically resonators, so she can bump all your tokens up too as you're generating all these tokens over and over and over again. Then we just have your basic wind magic stone. This is what the stone for the structure decks is going to look like, so I just wanted to show that to you guys. But let me know what you guys think. That's all we have for today. Lots of cool stuff. I, for one, am glad to see the Sieges come back. I think that Zero is a little bit better than Fiethsing, but that makes sense that they're giving her some love because Fiethsing was always way better than Light Zero in the past. So other than that, let me know what you guys think by liking, commenting, and subscribing, and stay tuned for more videos as I break them up this week. Until next time, guys, this is TMO73 signing off.